Ladies and gentlemen, March 2019, that's the Brexit month, at least that was thought 2 years ago. We have just published a special issue in the journal International Economics and Economic Policy, and the title of the special issue is Institutional Changes and Economic Dynamics of International Capital Markets in the Context of Brexit. So that is quite an important analysis. We start in this special issue, which is public access for a few weeks, with the forum, and then we have a contribution by Barry Eichengreen. Eichengreen basically looks into the question, what is the effect of Brexit on the portfolio capital flows, or actually the stock of foreign portfolio investment in the US, and the basic finding is minus 12% adjustment is to be expected. And he also looks into changes of the international organization architecture in the context of Brexit. There's another paper which is from Jürgen Jäger and his co-author Mrs. Körner, and they use a DSGE model to take a closer look at Brexit-related effects for monetary policy and so on. So there's also an innovative analysis, and then we have papers which all come from a Deutsche Bundesbank-sponsored project which looks into Brexit-related aspects in capital markets in the EU 28 countries. So it's very interesting to take a look at this Kadiraj Chorus paper. They look into the question how Brexit affects the sectoral risk premiums. So sectoral risk premium is the difference between the corporate interest rate and the government interest rate, and the authors in their empirical analysis look both at the UK and at the Eurozone. And the basic finding is that in the non-financials in these sectors there will be an increase in the risk premiums based on the Brexit event, in this case the referendum, and that lets us expect that the implementation of Brexit would bring a similar effect, and that of course means there would be higher financing costs, and therefore also the loan supply would effectively reduce, and that means lower investment, lower growth, and so on. On the other hand, we have a paper by Chorus and Celebi. They look at the effect on exchange rates, and Brexit here is an asymmetric impulse, which brings, when you have news on hard Brexit, a rather strong depreciation, and when you have news on soft Brexit, a more modest appreciation of the British pound. There is a paper by Bayer and myself. We look into foreign direct investment, actually, let's say, broadly defined in the context of the banking sector. And one key finding is that the investment, the banking investment in the UK are reduced through Brexit. And there are also other interesting findings which you can read then in the paper. I should also mention that there is this paper which I have written with my co-author Mrs. Chong, and there we look into an empirical analysis of explaining barriers to capital flows, basically in OECD or EU countries. And of course, now that we are facing Brexit, that we are anticipating Brexit, the question is what, for instance, can we in the EU 27 do to mitigate the negative effect? And we still have indeed opportunities to reduce barriers to capital flows intra-EU. I think that is very important. I have also written a standalone paper which to some extent explains in an enhanced Branson model, looking at the role of economic integration in such a model, It explains basically why one will see a smaller demand for British bonds and what then are the effects on the exchange rate and the interest rate. And the paper also raises serious questions about the role of the ESRB, the European Systemic Risk Board, that has been created in 2010 as a lesson from the transatlantic banking crisis. The idea is to have macro-prudential supervision, so to take a broader look at systemic risk, and this institution is not working well, has not been working well in 2017 and 18. I think it's surprising that cooperation, for instance, between the Bank of England and other British institutions active there with their partner institutions from EU 27 countries has obviously reduced. There is not much what we have seen in terms of research or recommendations concerning Brexit, and of course one has to anticipate that Brexit can bring a lot of instabilities to financial markets, and this combined with, for instance, the Sino-US trade conflict, of course, can create considerable risk also for the real economy. So all these papers, I think, are quite interesting, and we are very grateful for this project. I think we as researchers, we would try to shed some light on the adjustment dynamics of Brexit, and the readers certainly will find many very valuable and new insights in this special issue.